This is the 2026 Jeep Grand Wagoneer Limited Reserve. Is it the perfect full-size SUV for you? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. When you look at the 26 version of the Jeep Grand Wagoneer, you're going to notice some changes. The front end fully redesigned, some big changes here as far as the overall design of the exterior lighting, the headlights, daytime running lights, got our lights down here. Differences with our grille, and you're going to notice the Jeep logo right here. So going to have an updated look, not a full redesign, but some changes that are definitely worth noting. Now, I do like, as we work our way down, that we have a matte finish right here. That's always good because gloss tends to show more damage, and with the rock chips and little dings and things that are going to happen when you're driving down the road, stuff coming off of other cars and things like that. One thing that I really like about the lighting element here is that you have your daytime running lights here that run all the way across. If we get down low enough, you can see how nice that looks. I think that really sets things off. It looks great. Everything is LED. The turn signal indicator right here, that actually is animated. I don't know how that looks through the lens of the camera, but it really is actually kind of in motion, so to speak. As we work our way around, this is a 4x4, so a lot of great versatility where that is concerned. These are going to be the 22-inch wheels. A gloss black finish, look really nice against this black exterior color. Everything being black with our fender surround, all of that good stuff is going to be here. And then we'll work our way over here, Jeep Grand, or the Grand Wagoneer, I should say, logo right here on the doors. And then we work our way up to the side view mirrors. Everything you want is going to be here. Turn signal indicators, heated, power adjustable. They have blind spot monitoring built in, and they're also going to be power folding. So I'm going to flip the switch right here in the interior just so that you can see that happening in action. I apologize for that dinging in there. It's because we have the exterior lighting on. Now we will have our exterior door handles that will also be body color, and as you've already seen, in fact I'll use the rear door to do this, you have your power steps right there that are going to come back out. I like that they come out quickly, but they delay a few seconds before they go back under the vehicle. That way if somebody runs back up last second to get inside, they're still down there and deployed to be used. Nice large windows, very easy to see out of. Roof rails up top, you can get the crossbars and take advantage of a ton of extra space for cargo capacity. We're going to work our way around here. Once again, LED lighting and that animated effect with the turn signal indicator. I like that. It looks really cool. And once again, consistency from the front end to the rear as we have our lighting element going all the way across, giving it that nice look. I really like that. Normally, I would say let's conceal the rear window wiper in the rear roof spoiler, but there is no rear roof spoiler here, so we can't do that in this particular case. Not a big deal. You will see the changes here on the rear once again, just like we saw on the front as far as the design of the tail lights, everything going on here. So there are changes front and rear. And we work our way down. One thing that you'll notice is that you do have an exposed tailpipe right here. We don't have them coming through the rear, but they're not concealed away, which seems to be something a lot of you don't like. And how about your key fob details? Lock, unlock, you're gonna have remote start. You can open and close your power tailgate. And this button right here, hopefully you can tell, we dropped it on the air ride suspension to make it easier to get in and out. And so that's going to happen. It takes a little while, so that's why we're not showing you that in person, or in real time, I should say. And one more thing that's very important here, there is a mechanical key located inside of the key fob. And what exactly is that for? If the battery on the key fob dies or the battery on the vehicle dies, you're just going to come right here, pull the door handle out. There's the lock mechanism in case you ever need to do that. And if you're wondering how I had that power step sitting out like that, it's because the door was partially opened. Another change for 2026 is found here under the hood. This is now the standard engine in these Wagoneers. It's going to be a 3-liter Hurricane engine. It's twin turbo, and it is not hurting for horsepower. It's going to be making 420 horsepower, 468 pounds-feet of torque, mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. 0 to 60, about 5.9 seconds, give or take a little bit. Top speed is 145 to 147 miles per hour. That's pretty big numbers for an SUV of this size. Now let's talk about our MPGs. You probably won't be able to see it, so I'm just going to tell you what they are. 17 city, 23 highway, 19 combined, and 5.3 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And on the heels of the MPGs, let's talk about the gas tank details. You just push the gas door and it pops right open. 26.5 gallons is the capacity. In the city, you should be able to drive about 450 miles. Out on the highway, you should be able to drive around 640, give or take a little bit. Actually, some pretty impressive numbers for a full-size SUV. Your towing capacity ranges between a little over 6,000 pounds to a maximum impressive 10,000 pounds. How about your cargo space? Well, there's a button right here that you can push just above the license plate bracket, the button on the interior on the upper console, the button on the remote, or the easiest way, just kick your foot right under there, just like that, and you can see the lights are going to flash. You'll hear a couple of beeps and it's going to open right up. 7-passenger capability, and we're looking at a cargo capacity of 27.4 up to 94.2 cubic feet. Now, you might be wondering, why is this tailgate so low? Well, all you have to do to change that is push it or pull it down into whatever position you want. I'm going to do this, and via the button right here, all you have to do is hold that button down. I'm about to do that, and you're going to listen for the beeps. So let me do that. Listen for the beeps. So now when I close this and it opens back up, it's going to open to that maximum height. Now let's talk a little bit about how to control the position of our seats here. First of all, these right here on the rear, they're going to control our back seats. So the seat backs will go down. I'm not holding anything. I like the fact that you don't have to hold those buttons down. You just press the button once, a short press, and down they go. Now there is a little bit of a difference with these front buttons. These are for your middle row seats. So I'm going to push those just like this. There's one. There's the other. Didn't go all the way down, but that's okay. Here's the difference. You have to manually put those back in place, but I can just press like that and up come the rear seats. So a little bit of convenience there. It would be nice to have that work for the first and second row seats, but in some ways there are conveniences that those are manual. Makes it easier to get in and out of the back seat area. Now, we're going to also have a 12-volt power outlet right there. Have our little hangers right here if we need to take advantage of things like that. And the nice amount of space here, we're also going to have the floor right here that you can move out of the way. And right underneath this area right here is where you're going to find the tools to change the tire. You've got the funnel there if you need to take advantage of that for putting gas in the gas tank. It just depends on your situation, but overall, there is a ton of space back here depending on how you set things up. Let's talk about what your second and third row passengers are going to find. And we're going to start here with our door panel. Very well designed. I like that. It has a nice look to it. Very comfortable with plenty of padding and space for the armrest. You've got the controls for locking and unlocking doors, window controls, all of that is here. You can see your Macintosh system here as far as your stereo goes, the audio, and a nice large door bin down here with a bottle holder in the front. Plenty of room where that's concerned. Also, we're going to have the shades, as you can see right there. So they're manual shades that can be put in place if so desired. Here's our panoramic sunroof. That front portion will open, and there is a power shade that can be drawn back and forth. But one thing that really sets the Jeep Grand Wagoneer apart from competitors is there's also a rear sunroof. We're going to give you a little bit closer look at that when I hop back there. Now, how do you hop back there? There's a button on top of the seat right here. I'm going to push that button. The seat will get up and out of the way, so I can hop on back here. We'll get that seat out of the way so you can see what's going on back here. And depending on where the seats are set, these can be moved back and forth. You can see the rails that they run on right down there. So there is the ability to change the position of where these seats are located. Plenty of room, that's for sure. I feel like I have more than enough space to be comfortable on a nice long road trip. We're also going to have everything here with a manual shade for this rear sunroof if we want to take advantage of that. I'm going to close that up, and then we'll take a look at what we have over here. Let's get that out of the way. We're going to have the cup holder right there. You can see your connectivity options right here, and depending on how you want to set things up, we can recline the seats. That's what these buttons are for right here, to recline the seat backs if so desired. You can also see the air conditioning vent down here. The one thing I do wish was different back here is that location of the air conditioning vent. In my opinion, that should always be right here in the roof area because it's closer to the passenger that way instead of having to work its way up. Now, you could turn the fan speed up and make up for that, but that's just my opinion. Now, as far as getting back out, there actually is a large pass-through right here. Plenty of space for that, or simply push the button right here if the passengers forget in the middle row, and you can hop right out. All right, let's talk about what your middle row passengers are going to find. As I said, you can move these seats back and forth just like this, and you can see it actually goes pretty far forward. I don't know if anybody would sit that far forward, and it does depend on where the front seats are located. If they're too far back, that's going to make a difference too. In the door pillar area, you're going to find air conditioning vents right here. As you can see, that's actually 2 of the 4 air conditioning vents, because there's actually 2 more right here located on the rear of the center console. We've got our command center as far as this area goes, with fan speed, temperature. We've got our heated seats for the middle row passengers. All of that's going to be there. We've also got our power outlet right here, some USB connectivity options, and a 12-volt power outlet, our cup holders. And for storage, we have the rear seat pockets. Also going to have the nice large armrests. I'll always talk about how some of these armrests are too short in some of these vehicles. I think Jeep has done a good job here, because they did exactly what I say that Chevrolet and GMC should be doing with their full-size SUVs. Make them come up to this area right here, and then they're long enough when you set them down, there's plenty of room, and my arm's not hanging off partially like that. How about your sticker price? At Hebert's Town & Country, it's $82,655. Let's see what else you get for the price. We're going to start with our upper console. As I mentioned, there is the button to open and close the power tailgate from this area. You can turn your lights on and off here, SOS, all of your controls for the power shade and your sunroof. This front portion area that you can open and close will be located right here, and a sunglass holder is also here, or any kind of glasses I guess you want to put in there. Could be a multitasker, depending on what you want to put in there, anything that will fit. Now, working our way across, we can see the dash design here, our air conditioning vents. Everything looks nice. We're going to have our traditional glove box down there. Not a whole lot to tell you about where that's concerned, because it's traditional size, typical size. The nice large armrest, controls for the locks and the windows once again, and the large door bin down there. Now, we're going to work our way over here to the driver's side. One thing that at this price point, if you have seat memory on the driver's side, you should also have it on the passenger side. That's my view of it, at least. Here's the controls for your windows. One touch down. You'll have to hold them up with the back windows to get them to go back up. But one touch down, one touch up for all of your 2 front windows here. And then here's the control for your side view mirrors, depending on what you need to do. When I turned it back like that, we can get everything to fold, and then we turn it back the other way, just like it is now. And that's going to bring them back to their spot where they're used as you would use them when you're driving. Now, lighting control right here, you can just leave that on auto if you want to. No big deal where that's concerned. Your power parking brake is right down here. And then we're also going to have our power adjustable steering wheel, tilt and telescopically adjustable. It is a heated steering wheel. Everything for your cruise control is right here, depending on what you need to do. You can take care of that. And then we can use this button right here to change what we see on the driver's display. A nice modern look. I really like that. You also have a nice bright head-up display. It doesn't look that bright right now, but it is nice and bright, especially at night. And then depending on what you need to see, we're going to arrow our way through different details and information. There's your tire pressure monitor. All of those great things are here. It just depends on what it is you need to see. And you just go through and arrow through and find it. Quite a few great things going on. And obviously, if you need to go into an area, you can push the OK right there. And we're going to have controls on the rear of the steering wheel for volume and for controlling what we're listening to. And over here, front and rear window wiper controls on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, your turn signal indicator control, your blinker stalk, blinker lever, whatever you want to call that, is going to be right there. The button to start and stop the engine is here. By the way, that is a 10.25-inch driver's display. Now we'll talk about the 12-inch center screen. So here's what we're going to have. First of all, here's where we're going to control our heated seats. You got your 3 stages of heated seats and 3 stages of heated seats, and also, believe it or not, 3 stages of heated steering wheel. In my GMC 2500, I only have 1 stage. And so that's a nice little thing to see. We can go back over here. You've got your built-in navigation. You can see what you're listening to. You're going to have everything for your audio right there. We've got comfort. The good news is that it's not controlled only from the screen. There are physical controls. I always like that. Your connections will be managed right here. And then we go to vehicle, let that come up, and you can see what all is going here. Quite a few nice things. You've got the mirror dimmer. If you want to take advantage of that, you can do that. You can see what else we're going to have here as far as the headrest fold goes, and then the power step right here. If you want to keep those deployed, say you're washing your Grand Wagoneer, you can do that right there. And how about your camera views? Let's go right here and take a quick look at what we have. There is the rear view right there. We can go in, front view right here. You can see what all is going on where that is concerned. And you can zoom in right there, as you can see, with the magnifier right here. And then to get out of this screen, we're just going to hit the X right there. Hit that one more time and it brings us back to our screen where we were. Now, how about the fam cam? Well, there we go. You can't really see anybody because the family's not back there. We're only sitting here in the front seat. But there that is, if you want to keep an eye on what the kids are doing or see what's going on back there with the adults or the kids. And you can see what else is here. We've got the rear view camera right there. If we just want to bring that up by itself, we can do that. So you can see what's going on where that's concerned. And you can come in here with this area. If you want to change the look of what's going on, we've got gauges. You can see all of that here. Kind of a neat little thing as far as the different options go and information you can have depending on what you need to know about. So I like what Jeep has done where that is concerned. And then we can come in here into our settings. So you can just change your display. You've got my profile. You can see what all's going on there where that is concerned. And if you're wondering about all of your different icons, there's not a ton here. You've got favorites on this screen, but if we go into categories, you are going to have quite a few more. And you can see everything that you're likely looking for. If you can't find it on any other area of the screen, it's likely going to be right here. You can wirelessly pair your smartphone. All that's going to be here. We've got media, depending on what we need to do right there. You can come into that area. You've got comfort right here. You also have navigation, and then we can go down here and actually have a few other things. Phone, vehicle, system. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on each and every one of these, but just to show you what's going on where that's concerned, that works well. Right here we have the button for turning the radio on and off and managing the volume. Over there on the right hand side is where you adjust what you're listening to as far as the station goes. Whatever you're listening to where that's concerned. Here are our physical controls I told you about for changing temperature, changing fan speed. You can set it on auto, do whatever you want. Front and rear window defoggers are going to be here. And underneath that, you can close this area off right here. But most likely you're going to want to leave that open because you have your wireless charging pad. There's a 12-volt power outlet located right here. And again, those same USB options we saw in the rear seating area. If you want to turn the auto stop start off, you do it right there. It says off. If you want to turn it back on, obviously that's how you're going to do that. Traction control, you can see what all is going on here as far as our different controls go. That's easy to deal with. Now, we also have our drive mode selector right here. And you can see each mode right here as far as sand and mud, snow. You've got auto. You also have sport. And you're also going to see that taking place here on the driver's display as well. If we can come up here and look at the driver's display, I'm going to show you that just so you can see what's going on where that is concerned. So there you go. There's snow. There's sand and mud. Work our way back down. You've got auto, and the only one that really has a big difference is going to be sport. I think that looks pretty good as far as that goes. And then we're also going to be able to make changes to the height of the vehicle, depending on what we're doing with that. If you want to raise that without using the remote, you can drop it all the way back down and go right down here to have it set where we did earlier in the video. Here's your shifter. What do you think about this shifter? Some people like it, some people don't. There doesn't seem to be any neutral ground, but you've got reverse, neutral, and drive, and then you can go all the way back over there to park once again. We do have the gloss black or piano black finish, so don't go playing the piano on there. It might fingerprint up. Once again, we can conceal things away right here with the cup holders. If you need them, there they are. And then a couple of different things going on here. We've got some USB ports inside of this area right here. A little bit of storage. And then we can also come right here and talk about a lot of storage. Let me get that piece of paper out of there. There is a ton of storage. You can see how far I reach down in there when I put my arm inside. No shortage of storage compartments throughout the interior of this Grand Wagoneer. And per the request of so many of you, here is a sampling of the audio here with this Macintosh 19 speaker audio system. And there you go. I hope that does a good job for you as far as how it sounds through whatever form of listening device you have. All right, here we go on the test drive with the Grand Wagoneer. It has a great ride quality. Thanks to the air ride suspension, we showed you a little bit about how that works earlier and how you can adjust it for different situations. But that also helps with a comfortable ride quality. The seats themselves are very comfortable. And I like that you have so much room in all three rows. Even some other full-size SUVs can't boast of such a thing, so that's good. Tons of ability to adjust the driver's seat between the seat itself and the steering wheel, so that's going to help everybody out of any height. Plenty of headspace. I like that. There is definitely no shortage of room throughout the entirety of the interior, so nobody feels cramped. That's not going to be an issue. And this is a 4x4, so if you need to, you can go into four-wheel drive and take care of everything as far as your low traction situations go, and you're going to be in good shape, whether it's the snow and the ice or whatever the situation is. And as I showed you earlier in the video, you have those different driving modes that are going to help out as well. The technology here, not difficult to learn or use. That's always a good thing. I know for some people it's a little daunting, especially if they haven't had this kind of technology before in a vehicle. And we're going to make a quick U-turn here. A very impressive turning radius for a full-size SUV. And when it comes to getting up to speed, I'm just pushing on the pedal down a little bit beyond quarter throttle, not going too crazy with it, but it's getting up to speed with no problem. I can tell if I needed to accelerate quickly, I could. So you're not going to be hurting in that department either. Easy to see out of. You do have all of your typical driving aids, the safety features, such as your blind spot monitoring and the lane keeping assist, and all those good things are going to be here that are going to help you out. Overall, a very well-rounded vehicle, easy to drive, gets the job done as far as hauling the family and the friends around, towing. Cargo space is more than plentiful, and you've got plenty going on in every single area. So I think it checks off every box that you could possibly need. There it is, the 2026 Jeep Grand Wagoneer Limited Reserve. Is it the perfect full-size SUV for you? Tell me what you think down in the comments section, and tell me what you think is missing. What's not here that you think should be? I'm always curious to receive your feedback. I would like to say a special thanks to our friends at Hebert's Town & Country for loaning us this Grand Wagoneer for the day so we could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give us the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That's very helpful and greatly appreciated. Make sure to subscribe and share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and we'll see you there.